But yeah, they could take all the drugs in the world. They're not going to be like a Hussein Bolt or somebody because he's just naturally gifted to be that way. He's built for that. And some people are built for bodybuilding where, like I said, without touching a drug, they can just pick up a weight and go boom.
How long is too long to diet and get into that and do the 2 hours of cardio or the hour of cardio? I'm almost 300 in Gladiators. It doesn't look like much. And I'm 257 in the ripped photo.
People, as soon as there's a death, they're like, steroids. And I'm like, okay, steroids probably play a part, but then...
Somebody just did a video and I'm sitting there dying. He shows a Gladiator photo of me. And Gladiators, I was in Battle Dome. I'm 285, 295. And he showed a photo of me doing this sliced photo. I won't say that I'm what my weight is, but I'm sliced. And he's like, you can't go from Gladiators, maybe 215 to this size at 230. And he's just like crushed the numbers. I'm almost 300 in Gladiators. It doesn't look like much. And I'm 257 in the ripped photo. And I'm like, it plays an illusion. So you there next to you sliced, everybody's going to go, oh, you sliced, you're bigger. And you're 60 pounds smaller.
Yeah, that would happen to me all the time because people would see me in the gym being bulked up like that. And I'd start getting ready for a show. I'd start leaning up. And they go, oh, shit, Lee, you've put some size on. You're looking bigger. I'm like, I've lost 35 pounds. They're like, what? You look bigger. You know, because the muscle starts coming out. You get the definition. And it's like I said, my arm, when I was bulked up, would be 24 inches. When I was in contest shape, it was 21. But even at 21, ripped, it looked like it's still 24. It's like, you've seen it. I've seen guys in the gym who might just have an 18-inch arm, but got the beautiful bicep, tricep shaped and striated. Their arm looks 20. If you say, fuck, your arm's 20 inches, just because of the shape and definition. It's like, how many times you see movie actors on the big screen, like the Van Dammes and Stallones, you think they're massive because of the in shape, but you see them in person, you're like, fuck, he's tiny. But, you know, it's like...
That's the truth. It's funny because I've lived all the stuff that you're saying. It's like when you first start the diet, it's great because you still got that size, but then the shape comes out and everybody goes,
what about that in-between stage where, like I said, I love to be big and bulked where you're strong. I start dieting and now I'm not big and bulked. I'm not ripped. I'm in this in-between stage where I got a little definition here, but my waist is still fat. So you're sort of soft and spudgy in place. I said, that's the bit where it fucks with your mind. It's like, shit, do I just go and eat again and go back to being bulked? Or do I just look in the mirror and push through it? Because once you get through it, then everything starts coming in. But that in-between stage where everything just looks soft and you're like, oh, Jesus.
So that's the crossroad. Let's say that's the crossroad. A lot of these people that are watching today are in that crossroad. They've been moderately dieting or they've been dieting and they're getting to this point and they can go either right or left. Do I keep dieting or do I go off season? Is there something, and this is going to be a tough question because it's going to make you really dig on this one. What would make you go to the right to keep dieting? What would make you go to the left to go off season? Not for you, particularly you, but for you, if you were coaching somebody, what would you tell them if you can? If this is it's a tough question.
I'd be like, listen, like it's like, how long have you been off season? You know, if you came to me, you want change, I'm going to make you have change. You know, you've been this way your whole time. And yes, because I've been through it, I know how it is to go like this. But I'd tell people, look, going back to how you were off season's too easy. You could just go and have a couple of meals in a few days and you're back to that. I said, look, mentally, yes, it's going to be hard. That's why I always tell people, physically, when I got ready for shows, dieting, the cardio, the training was easy. The mental side was the hardest you're ever going to go through. The mental aspect where your mind's going to play games. You've probably known it too, where even when you're in shape some days at the gym, you could look in the mirror and go, I look like fucking shit. And people go, what are you talking about? It's just like, it's almost like these anorexia.
Because my team's here and you guys understand that now because they'll go, you look good. And I'm like, I look like shit. And they're like, dude, you look really, really good. And it does. It messes with your mind. So everybody at home.
And you're like, you're just saying that because you're my friend. You're just saying that.
You're paying you. But you're listening to a legend of the health and fitness world tell you that it freaks with your mind. So understand for you average Joes that have your job and your family and stuff, You're listening to a legend of the industry telling you it messed with even him, and it messes with me. And so don't feel bad that it messes with your mind when you do get to that.
Oh yeah, and we're all going to get to that point, and this is where I said it. Just be strong and keep going, because it might only be 2 weeks you're at that point where you look at yourself. I just stopped looking at myself because, like I said, the upper body around the delts and arms might be tightening up, but the waist is still flabby. So it's like, oh, I look good here, I look soft here. So it's like, I won't even look. And generally it's only like 2 weeks, and then you'll notice it all coming in. And then you feel, fuck, I'm glad I stuck with it. I pushed through. And once you get past that, it just seems like, you know, I'd go to bed, you know, I always say the power of the mind. I'd lay in bed, as dumb as it sounds, to put myself to sleep. I'd be like, I am getting more ripped. I am getting more shredded. My skin's getting thinner. Like this mantra I just keep saying in my head over and over. And when I was married to Kathy at the time, I'd just say this, I'm getting tighter. It's getting tighter here. And like I'd picture it in my mind, the abs coming in, the waist coming in. And every couple of days, she's like, you look to be changing all the time. And it's something to be said, you know, if you can see it in your mind and stuff and you believe it, that mentally it will start happening, because once you see it start happening, like I said, you get past that tough 2 weeks and you look in the mirror, all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, my waist has come in. The excitement comes back. You're like, yeah, I'm getting in shape. So when you go back to the gym, you're training harder, your cardio is getting harder, and week by week, you just seem to be getting in shape. So, you know, it's going to be hard, but once you get through that, trust me, it's worth it in the end. Even if you're not getting, like I said, not everyone's going to go into contest shape, but just for the average person who wants to just feel better about themselves and get into some decent type of shape, you know, just to go from how they were to looking, you know, good and feeling good, you know, it's going to be hard on your mind. And like I said, it's too easy to go back to that. Just stick it out. And like I said, generally, it's just that 2 weeks max at the top where it just seems to, nothing's happening. You might even hop on the scale and go, oh, fuck, even the scales aren't moving. Why am I even bothering? And that's where it starts playing with your mind, because I'm dieting hard, I'm doing the cardio hard, but it's almost like your body just plateaus for 2 weeks to fuck with you, to test you out, to say, okay, which way are you going to go? And if you get through that, then it will start dropping off again.
Let me ask you another question. How long is too long to diet and get into that and do the 2 hours of cardio or the hour of cardio? And then what do you mean?
How long is too long in the off season?
Oh, okay, good question. So I'm asking you that one first. How long is too long to diet down for?
Well, I think like I'd do it 12 to 16 weeks for a contest. And, you know, at a contest, you look your best, but you feel your worst, because being that lean, as good as it looks, it's not healthy. But right. To the average person, if you're, like I said, I don't even like to call it dieting, because yes, we go on a strict diet for a contest, but for the average person who wants to get in shape and look a bit decent, I just call it, you know, it's just really healthy eating, making the right changes and choices. And once you get that going, and I said, and you do your cardio, even if you're only doing 45 minutes a day walking your dog, or morning and afternoon walking the dog, it doesn't have to be in a gym killing yourself. Like I'm not one of those guys that goes crazy. I just get on the treadmill, a good steady pace on an incline, or I go walking outside. And like I said, but if you're eating healthy and clean, once you get to that point where you're like, you know what, I look good, I'm happy with where I am, you can still eat clean. And as you know, if you're doing the cardio consistently, if you go out for dinner and you feel like, hey, you know what, I want a piece of chocolate cake, you can have it. Don't be like, oh no, I can't eat that. You can have that. And trust me, one piece of chocolate cake at a meal once a week, or if you go out one night and go, you know what, tonight's the night I'm going to have a pizza. Trust me, when you first do it, you think, oh, this is bad food, I can't eat it. You beat yourself up mentally, but trust me, the next day you're going to look exactly the same. Yes, if you did it every day, you're going to put a bit of weight back on, but you know, you can have a little treat here and there and not feel guilty about it. And now there's certain treats that are lower in sugar and lower in fat that, you know, you can have that as long as your main diet though is still healthy. And like I said, not bodybuilding diet, because we go far extreme for a bodybuilding diet, but just overall healthy eating. If you're eating healthy, you can have a little treat here and there. So like I said, it's unrealistic to think you can only eat chickens and salads and you can't have this and can't have that, because, you know, anyone that sort of deprives himself for a long time, if you just had a little bit, you're satisfied, you can get through the week again. If you have that, you know, little cheap meal on a Saturday night, you have your pizza and whatever, a bit of chocolate cake, come Sunday, Monday, you're good for the week. Whereas if you just have nothing at all, once you get to that point, like I said, when it builds up and you go to have something, you explode and go right off the rails because you deprived it for so long. Because sometimes you might just need that little bit just to keep you sane. It's like, I just want a little bit. I just want to taste. Have it once you get to that point where you're happy with how you're looking. Like I said, because you don't want to be miserable. I said, you want to diet, you want to look good, but feel good and still have fun. You don't want to be like, oh, fuck, I hate the world, I hate you. You go out for dinner, you're sitting there eating and go, oh, fuck you, I hope you choke on that. It's like, it's like, you don't want to be one of those miserable people where you look good, but you just, shit to be around because, oh, fuck, he's on a diet again, he's too miserable.
Then my team here is they're youngsters. And so they're in that stage of wanting to compete one day, but they don't want to compete moderately. They want to make names for themselves. They want to step on there and be impressive. So how long is maybe too long to bulk up for, or off season?
Well, I always find that, my off seasons would always be based on whatever show I did. So if I did like the Ironman which was February and early March was the Ironman and Arnold Classic, and I qualified for Olympia, I'd be good till if I started dieting the end of June. So that would be my bulk up time. But then if I did the March show Arnold, then I did a show in May, whatever time that was, it might only be 2.5 months off season. So it just depended on what shows I planned on doing. But it just gets to a point too where some people are like, I want to put more size on. I want to put more size on. So they go a year or two without doing so. It's like, you got to get to a point where, okay, you might want to be bigger, but after a year of bulking, if you got a little bit of muscle, just diet down, do a show, get your feet wet, see how you look, experience the dieting and everything. And then, you pick a show 6 months later, go off for, 2.5 months, 3 months of just eating a lot more food and put a bit of size on. Because sadly now, we're seeing all these deaths in bodybuilding, and people, as soon as there's a death, they're like, steroids. And I'm like, okay, steroids probably play a part, but then I'm also thinking now, a lot of these guys, like I said, when we competed, we took gear, but probably not like a lot of guys do now, but we would do like the shows beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year. And I'm thinking, if you weigh it up now, it's like, okay, we used a bit of gear, but even though you use gear for contest time, cardio, you're pretty fit because you're doing lots of cardio. You're eating a lot cleaner. So, your body, fats and everything's probably functioning a lot better compared to guys now. They do one show a year. They're sitting around 300 pounds for 10 months of the year, pumping gear into them. I'm like, really, which is worse for you? It's like, we don't know what amount of steroids is bad, but yet if you're 300 pounds, because, bodybuilders off season, it's like, you want to go somewhere? No, I'm not going for a walk. I could burn muscle. You want to go out? No, I got to sit here. I just go to the gym, sit on the couch and stuff myself full of food and take gear. So, on the body, that's a strain on the heart. You're not cardio fit. But if you did more shows, you're doing a lot more cardio. You're still using a little bit of gear, yes, but you're doing a lot more cardio. You're eating super clean. So technically that should be better for your body. But kids now are just doing one show a year. I'm thinking, do a few more shows. And the thing is too, you don't need these vast amount of gear that I hate seeing young kids taking. Well, I read online such and such. It's all fucking rumors. It's all bullshit. That's why I get so annoyed when from day one I've been truthful with the amount, and people go, you're lying. I heard you take this. I'm like, I'm the guy taking it. I know what I fucking take. I'm telling you the amount I take. Well, such and such said you take this. I said, well, such and such, I don't know him. So how the hell would he know what I'm taking? It's like you asked me, I'll tell you. And the thing is, too, I've helped kids who have been on these large amounts. I said, look, go off clean, 4 or 5 months off everything, go back on. And they've gone back on probably using a quarter and competed. They've looked better. They've felt better. I said, look, it just proves you did not need that large amount. So I said, the large amount's good for the guy you're buying it off. He'll be out driving a new fucking Mercedes and shit because you're buying 10 bottles of this when you only need 2 bottles. That's all you need. Oh, no. So they just get this mentality, more is better. And you're probably like me. It's like when we trained, when I had magazines, I knew about steroids, but to me it was just about lifting heavy, eating and drinking the Mega Mass 5000 that looked like fucking wallpaper paste. You could barely get it down. And then it was like, to me, even to this day, drugs were the last thing. They were the 5%, but people go, oh, drugs are everything. I said, no, they're not. I said, the training, the eating, your mindset and everything like that, what you have up here is going to outdo any drug that's out there. Because if you have the genetics, I tell someone, we get the ones that come up and say, hey, Mike, I'm going to train. I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. And you're like, okay, good luck. It's like, maybe do a local show first before you hit the Mr. Olympia. And they say, I want to be pro. What do I have to do? I want to be a bodybuilder. What do I have to do? I said, eat correctly and train. Because I said, trust me, if you have the genetics to be a top bodybuilder, just by eating and training with no drugs, you're going to build a great physique. You'll know this is what you're meant to do. It's like any sport, I guess. Some young kid that picks up a basketball or like Tiger Woods when he was young, you're like, hey, shit, that kid's going to be a great golfer. If you have it genetically and God-given talent to be a bodybuilder, like I said, no drugs at all, just training and eating, you're going to build muscle. People are going to think, oh, that guy's on fucking gear, just because you have it there already. So when you get to a level, when you do need it, you only need a small amount. So these guys that say, I'm going to be a bodybuilder, and they start pumping their gear in, nothing's happening, fuck, I'll double the doses, nothing's happening. Years and years go by, and in their head, it's like, listen, sadly, not everyone's going to be a bodybuilder. Not everyone can go to the gym and put on muscle. You might go to the gym and get strong. That's why I tell people, I hate to break their bubble, but it's like, listen, go to the gym. If it happens, trust me, it'll happen. But if it doesn't happen, still enjoy the training. You can go there still to be healthy. You can go there, still feel good. But, you know, you might not ever put on freaky muscle to be a bodybuilder. It's like me. Say I love basketball. I could be good at basketball and dribble the basketball and shoot hoops, but I'm never going to be in the NBA. It's like you just got to face the facts on, you know, you can only do what your body can allow you to do. And if you can't do it, pumping all the drugs into you, it's like I always said before, if we went around the world, how many sprinters would there be that are super fast? Like, you know, they're quick, but yet they could take all the drugs in the world. They're not going to be like a Usain Bolt or somebody, because he's just naturally gifted to be that way. He's built for that. And some people are built for bodybuilding where, like I said, without touching a drug, they can just pick up a weight and go boom. And you're like, wow, look at him. And then other guys can train all they want, pump all the drugs. And I've seen the goals when I used to be there. I knew so many guys that would train their ass off and be strong, take all the drugs. But if I said to you, hey, see him, he's on all this gear, you'd be like, fuck, does he even lift weights? But in their mind, if I take more, I can look like you. But sadly, it doesn't happen.